We all are using internet in our daily life. Have you ever think? Who invented the internet? What most of us think of as the internet is really just the pretty face of the operation. Browser windows, websites, URLs, and search bars. Well, it is impossible to credit the invention of the internet to a single person. The internet was the work of dozens of pioneering scientists, programmers and engineers. Unlike technologies such as the light bulb or the telephone, the internet has no single inventor. Instead, it has evolved over time. The internet got its start in the United States more than 50 years ago as a government weapon in the Cold War. For years, scientists and researchers used it to communicate and share data with one another. Today, we use the internet for almost everything, and for many people it would be impossible to imagine life without it. But the real internet, the brain behind the information superhighway, is an intricate set of protocols and rules that someone had to develop before we could get to the World Wide Web. Long before the technology existed to actually build the internet, Nikola Tesla toyed with the idea of a world wireless system. In the early 1900s, and visionary thinkers like Paul Otlet and Vannevar Bush conceived of mechanized. The first workable prototype of the internet came in the late 1960s with the creation of ARPAnet, or the Advanced Research Projects Agency Network. Originally funded by the U.S. Department of Defense, ARPAnet used packet switching to allow multiple computers to communicate on a single network. 29, 1969, ARPAnet delivered its first message, a node-to-node communication from one computer to another. The first computer was located in a research lab at UCLA and the second was at Stanford. Each one was the size of a small house. The technology continued to grow in the 1970s after scientists Robert Kahn and Vint and Cerf developed Transmission Control Protocol and Internet Protocol, or TCPIP, a communications model that set standards for how data could be transmitted between multiple networks. Cerf and Kahn developed a set of guidelines for data transfer using packet switching in 1980, while Kleinrock's experiment proved that a single network between two computer systems was possible. Cerf and Kahn's TCP/IP provided the backbone for an efficient and large web of interconnected networks, thus the name Internet. The network grows. By the end of 1969, just 4 computers were connected to the ARPAnet, but the network grew steadily during the 1970s. In 1971, it added the University of Hawaii's Aloha Net, and 2 years later it added networks at London's University College and the Royal Radar Establishment in Norway. By the end of 1969, just 4 computers were connected to the ARPAnet, but the network grew steadily during the 1970s. Did you know, today, almost 1/3 of the world's 6.8 billion people use the internet regularly? ARPAnet adopted TCP/IP on January 1, 1983, and from there researchers began to assemble the network of networks that became the modern internet. Some of the online pioneers that helped to usher in the information age. Tim Berners-Lee invented the World Wide Web. On the 6th of August 1991, the first website published by British computer scientist Tim Berners-Lee, known as the World Wide Web, he is justly recognized as the forefather of the www, which is centric to so much of our online activity. He created hypertext markup language, HTML, which is still used to create most electronic documents that appear on the web. Leonard Kleinrock. Packet switching. Leonard Kleinrock developed the mathematical theory of packet switching networks while studying at the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, MIT, between 1960 and 1962. This technology involves the sending of small pieces of information from an origin to a destination. Larry Roberts, ARPAnet Roberts designed the ARPAnet, an advanced research project on behalf of the U.S. Department of Defense. The idea behind the project was to interconnect computers around the nation, and in November 1969 the first successful communications were sent from a computer at the University of California in Los Angeles to one at the Stanford Research Institute 350 miles away. Raymond Tomlinson. Email. Another ARPAnet alumni. Tomlinson sent the first email in 1971, a test message to himself which, he says, was something like QWERTYUIOP. Paul Mockapetris and John Postel. Domain name system. The first domain name was symbolics.com and was registered in 1985. Barry Shein. First commercial internet service provider. In the early days of the internet, only governments, universities and corporations were online. Barry Shein changed this by introducing the world above, the first commercially available internet service provider in 1989, which allowed dial-up access to the information superhighway. Marc Andersen and Bina. First proper web browser. The World Wide Web wouldn't be much use without a browser to check out all of those lovely web pages. The first widely used browser was called Mosaic. It was developed at the National Center for Supercomputing Applications at the University of Illinois and was released in 1993. Vint, Cerf and Robert Kahn. TCPIP. Big-time internet legends are Cerf and Kahn. They created the Transmission Control Protocol and Internet Protocol, TCP/IP technology. Sir Tim Berners-Lee, the World Wide Web. Sir Tim Berners-Lee. In 1990, he created hypertext markup language, HTML, which is still used to create most electronic documents that appear on the web. On August 6, 1991, his idea for the World Wide Web would bear fruit as he placed the first website online. Berners-Lee's founding principle of allowing the internet to be open to all prevented him from becoming the richest man in the world, but that decision gave us the internet we know and love today. If you this video is little bit informative, then hit the subscribe button and share with your friends. If you have any question and suggestion related to my channel and this video, leave a comment. Thanks for watching.